with this upfront EQ knowledge, do you think this could lead or add to more bias in the workplace?
Great question. In theory, it could lead to more bias, because if you know what somebody's like, you're going to adapt to that. That is bias, right? Bias isn't just using something for negative outcomes. Bias is using something for positive outcomes, right? If somebody loves working on a tight deadline with urgency because they're very decisive, and someone hates being under pressure like that, yes, there's bias when the manager now, before, would give the projects equally to two people, and now that person's going to give the project to the person who likes that type of environment better, and not make the other person miserable. That's decision based on bias, which actually leads to a better outcome. Now, in terms of the bias that most people are talking about with hiring, today it's 100% bias. Today it's a fact that people hire who they like. So there is no diversity of thought. You can look at all the research. This is not my opinion. This is fact. All the research, Harvard Business Review came out April of last year, a front page article. It's called Cascading Thought. Left to their own devices, managers will hire themselves and hire people they like and hire the one that everyone likes on the team. Okay, that is not the best friend to a company looking for best output. That is complete bias. A tool like this, where you can understand that you're doing that and that you can now actually have data to steer you clear of that, will guarantee an improved outcome, which is less fraught with bias. So yes, it will lead to less bias if you use the data correctly. And in terms of managing people and where they fit best at a company and career mobility, yes, bias will lead to people being put in the right jobs where they'll be happiest. But we have not seen the bias at companies of our clients where they're using this to say, you're not good for this job, we're going to fire you. That has not happened. What usually happens instead is, with the data like this, okay, currently what happens is someone's not performing, they get fired. That's current state. With this tool, you work with John or Mary or Javier or Mohammed, and you say, hey, you're not performing. And we now have this new tool called Humantelligence, which explains why. This role, actually, all the people who are performing are typically much more working with people, for instance, in their work environments. They're much more deliberate. They're much more change-oriented and agile, and that kind of goes against everything that you are from the results. Now, we can work with you and develop you so that you can succeed, right? Or we can find a new job and a new home for you in this company because we really like you as a person and you've done well in the past, but the job's kind of changed. We can find a new home. So using this data will just alert people to where there's friction in someone's career, where they're working out, where they're not, and lead to better fit for that person. So again, any tool, any data leads to decisions. If used correctly, this actually reduces bias tremendously, which leads to higher performance, less turnover, and better engaged employees in the roles where they're meant to be.